Central Unified School District Board of Trustees meeting for June 8th, 2021 is called to order at 6:09. The first order of business is attendance. Please let the record reflect that all board members are in attendance. The next item is adoption of the agenda. What are the wishes of the board on this item?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Trustee Solis. Is there a second? I have a second by Trustee Brooks. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hearing unanimous support, motion carries. Now we will take any comments from the public on closed session items. I understand we typically have a delay, so I will allow 30 seconds to pass, starting now. For any members of the public currently watching us or listening to us, the number to call is 559-276-3150. This is an opportunity for the public to provide any comments on any of the closed session items. If you wish to provide any comments on any of the other agendized items or on non-agendized items during public comment, we will take those once we return back to public session.
President Correa, we do not have any calls at this time.
Thank you. Hearing no comments from the public for the closed session items, we will now adjourn and go into closed session. And we will return to open session at 7 p.m. or as soon as thereafter. Thank you. The Central Unified School District Board of Trustees reconvenes to open session. Items to report from closed session. The certificated personnel report was approved by a motion by Trustee Cervantes, a second by Trustee Mailing. Motion carried 7-0. The classified personnel report was also approved by a motion by Trustee Paul, a second by Trustee Brooks, and a vote of 7-0. During closed session, the governing board took action to place the superintendent on paid administrative leave and to initiate an administrative investigation related to the off-duty alleged misconduct that has come to the district's attention. That'll conclude our reports for closed session. We now continue with our open session. Our next item is the Pledge of Allegiance. If we can have Vice President Solis please lead us.
Please stand and face the flag. Ready? Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We don't have a presentation for the national anthem, correct? We do? Okay, thank you. Our next item is presentation and reports, employee recognition, Assistant Superintendent Collegian.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, colleagues, family, and friends. This evening, Central Unified has the distinct honor and privilege of recognizing our 2020-21 retirees for Central Unified. This year, we bid a fond farewell to 73 exemplary employees. Collectively, these individuals have dedicated a total of 1,761 years of service and support to our students, staff, and community. Please allow me to honor their dedication and commitment this evening with the following special live stream presentation. Thank you.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time.
Congratulations to all of our retirees and award winners. Again, we extend a heartfelt gratitude and wish you the best in your new chapter in life called retirement. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will have Employee Association highlights. Do we have a representative from the Central Unified Teachers Association wishing to address the board?
We do. We have her on the line right now.
Okay, fantastic. And as we wait for our representative to get on the line, I just want to remind the members of the community who are listening or watching us from home, if you wish to address the board during our public session, the number to call or to dial is 559-276-3150. Once again, the public call-in number for any members of the public wishing to address the board during comments from the public is 559-276-3150.
Hi, Mrs. Martinez, are you on the line?
President Martinez, can you hear us? Or me? Are we having a tech issue on our end, or is it on her end? Oh, President Martinez, I hear you. Can she go any louder? Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Fantastic. We can hear you now. So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Thank you, President Creel. Good evening, Board Trustees and Superintendent. Tonight, I would like to revisit something I brought to your attention about a year ago today. I reported out that GATE educator Erica Boyd applied for an Institute for Teaching Impact grant through the California Teachers Association. She was awarded $17,000, and I'm happy to report today that the impact our students made with the projects that they created was amazing. GATE students were encouraged to take action and do something to make a difference in the lives of others. This past year, students took their big ideas and organized them into manageable projects that could happen even while social distancing. These students planned creative solutions to the problems they identified in their community and were empowered to find a way to make a big impact. Their projects range from nursing home virtual movie night, COVID-safe Easter, virtual tutoring, birdhouses for creek fire wildlife, art to encourage healthcare workers, loving shelter animals, saving lives in the environment with masks, painting classes to fight boredom and stress, cozy comfort for all, growing healthy food to share, care kits for homeless, educating peers, saving our earth, and community drives. Thank you to Erica Boyd for guiding and encouraging our students with community impact projects. At yesterday's site rep meeting, we heard about the successful and positive feedback that our high school class and pathways were receiving about their graduation ceremonies, and also at the middle schools for their 8th grade drive-through recognition. Thank you to everyone who helped make these days memorable for our students and parents, and congratulations to our seniors. And with just 2 days left in the school year, I want to take a moment to thank our entire Central Unified staff and to our board members for a job well done under circumstances like no other this year. Much gratitude for all our classified and certificated retirees who have given their service to our district and community. You will be missed. We congratulate you and we wish you all the best in your new journey. Please remember to take some time for you, have a spectacular summer, and be safe. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from President Chacon on behalf of the California School Employees Association.
Good evening, everybody. Just want to tell you, next we have nothing to report at this time. I thank you for the moment of opportunity. Hopefully next time I'll come, we'll have more to inform you of. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, board communications. Is there any board member wishing to speak at this time? If not, I just want to congratulate our graduating class of 2021. We had graduations last week and we've continued this week, and so far I know we've enjoyed them, and I hope that our graduates and their families are also enjoying them. So thank you to our administration and to the graduating class for all of their help in those efforts. So again, congratulations. Next, we will take comments from the public. So at this time, if there is any member of the public wishing to address the board, I do know we have a comment, and so I will turn it over to Trustee Brooks. For those listening from home or watching us, the number to call is 559-276-3150. This is an opportunity for any member of the public to address the board on any item not currently on the agenda. You will have 2 minutes. We ask that you be respectful of the time and you please conclude your comment at the conclusion of your 2 minutes. Clerk Brooks.
We have Courtney Urbarian.
Make sure you turn on your mic.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Courtney Irabaran. It's nice to finally meet you all in person. Now, I believe that this board wants the best for what this district is, and we not always agree, but I think in this case, we will. The superintendent has committed an act that was unspeakable, and I want to thank you all for taking the action to put him on suspension, put him on leave. But I urge you to go further than that. I urge you to call for his resignation. I understand that that might not have happened tonight, but in the future, this is the wisest move. We cannot continue to go forward as a district with this at our head. We can have no tolerance in a school district for violent inclinations, especially when it is from our superintendent. Now, I do not stand here criticizing his decisions or even his lackluster leadership, but his character, his conduct, his example. We cannot project these values to our district, to our students, to our women and girls. In the future, we need to learn to expect better from our leaders, as a district, but as people too. We can't change what happened, but we can do better moving forward. I encourage you to hold your fellow board members and yourselves accountable for maintaining the community's trust in you. Tonight, I hope you hold the superintendent accountable, and I thank you for doing so. But I implore you to call for his resignation, and if he refuses, to call for his removal. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney, for your comment.
Thank you.
Clerk Brooks, do we have any other comment? Do we have any calls on the line?
We don't have any callers waiting right now.
Okay. Hearing no further public comment, we will conclude our comments from the public. Thank you. We move on to our consent agenda. As a friendly reminder, these are items that are routine to the board and are voted on as one item. Are there any comments or questions regarding any of the items under the consent agenda? If there aren't, what are the wishes of the board on the item?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. I have a motion by Trustee Solis. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Trustee Brooks. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. We now move on to our action items. Our first item is M1, Student Discipline Case Number 2021-002. What are the wishes of the board on this item?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Trustee Solis. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Trustee Paul. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Our next item is approved 2021-2022 District Title I Parent Engagement Policy. Assistant Superintendent Davis.
Thank you, President Carrillo. This item returns for action from the prior meeting. We do recommend approval so that we can get into our handbook and share it out with each of our sites.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the public? Any discussion by the board? What are the wishes of the board on this item? I have a motion by Trustee Cervantes. Is there a second? I will second the item. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Next, we will hold a public hearing for the 2021-2024 Local Control and Accountability Plan. So at this time, I would like to open the public hearing. Oh, I'm sorry. Assistant Superintendent Davis?
I think we skipped M3.
I did. I apologize. Item M3, approve supplemental materials for elementary and secondary courses. Assistant Superintendent Davis.
Thank you. These items are recommended for approval for use beginning in the 2021-22 school year. Each item submitted has been reviewed and recommended by a committee of teachers who will be using the materials in their courses. The courses associated with each of the text and supplemental materials are attached. Following any questions, we do recommend approval of this item so we can begin to order and have them ready for students in the fall.
Thank you. Any comments from the public?
I don't have any callers in the queue, but I was, they did let me know that there is like a 30-second delay from the
Okay,
YouTube.
so why don't we allow 30 seconds, and
Okay.
if you can just let me know once the 30 seconds pass that we have no comments, and we'll proceed to the next item. So again, as we wait for any members wishing to address the board on any of the agendized items, the number to dial is 559-276-3150.
We have no callers.
Thank you. Hearing no comments from the public, what are the wishes of the board on this item? Trustee Paul?
I have a quick question about the Red Pyramid novel. The basis of selection for that?
Say again, I'm sorry.
What was the basis of selection for that novel?
It is a book that fits the time period of which they study, and it's received quite a few awards, and so they're recommending its use in their courses.
Based on the time period, based on,
Yes, the time period and the genre of books that they're studying, they want that available for them to use.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? What are the wishes of the board on the item? I have a motion by trustee Cervantes. Is there a second? I have a second by trustee Solis. Is that correct? Okay. By trustee Solis. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye. No.
Any abstentions? Okay. Motion carries. 6 yes votes and 1 no vote by trustee Paul and 0 abstentions. Thank you. Now we move on to action item number 4. Hold public hearing for the 2021-2024 Local Control and Accountability Plan. I apologize. So at this time, we will hold a public hearing. If there is any member of the public wishing to address the board, you can do so by either joining us at the podium or by calling our public call-in number at 559-276-3150.
President Carrillo, I don't have any callers in the queue.
Thank you. Hearing no comments, I will now close the public hearing. The next action on this item will be to place the 2021-2024 Local Control and Accountability Plan on our June 22nd, 2021 board meeting, which is our next board meeting. Does administration have anything further to provide on this item? Okay, thank you. We move on to item 5, hold public hearing for the adoption of the 2021-2022 proposed budget. So at this time, I will now open the public hearing. Any members wishing to address the board during this public hearing, the number to call is 559-276-3150.
President Creo, I have no calls in the queue.
Thank you. I will now close the public hearing. Any further comments from administration on this item?
There is a budget presentation that's attached to this item. If the board wishes to go through that, we can, but it has been provided ahead of time for the board's information.
Is there any board member that wishes to have administration present the item? Otherwise, this will return to our next board meeting for action. Okay. This item will return to our June 22nd board meeting under action. And if we have any questions, we can discuss them there, and you can present the presentation then. Thank you very much. That'll conclude our action items. We now move on to our information items. Item number 1, receive information regarding contract with Hanover Research. Assistant Superintendent Davis.
Thank you, President Creo. Tonight, we're bringing forward a contract to begin work with Hanover Research. Hanover is a research service that can assist with internal small-scale program evaluation. Our CSI schools, which are called Comprehensive School Improvement, receive funds, grant funds that must be spent on high-leverage practices that have research to support them. Our CSI schools are alternative campuses looking to improve graduation rates, as well as our middle school. One of our middle schools receives those funds. We expect to use the research entity to do some small-scale evaluation around some of our wellness supports. This does not conflict with or conduct the same work as was brought and discussed at previous meetings when we moved into a partnership with TNTP for an equity audit. The equity audit is focused on our academic program and patterns and trends of support for our students to make sure all of our students are receiving success. While this will help us receive success as well, it is focused on small-scale projects. We really are looking at the wraparound services to begin with, as well as have had some discussion about studying the impact of our parent engagement. Those areas are not covered by that one universal project, but are necessary for us to make sure our investments are appropriate, and if we need to make modifications, we can do so. We do not currently have an evaluator in our district focused solely on this work. By contracting with this entity, we not only have someone who can help conduct these studies for us as we need them, as well as have access to all of the other studies that they have done to help us in improving our practices. Many local agencies have already been in work with this entity and used their service for a variety of surveys, projects that have suited them and came with high review. Happy to share some of the feedback from them. We do recommend this item move forward so that our CSI schools can begin their projects at the start of the year.
Thank you. If I can just have administration and Clerk Brooks let me know if we do have any public comment on any items if I miss them. Any discussion, questions by the board? So I understand you said we don't have anyone currently doing this type of work. Are we doing anything similar? Do we conduct any surveys? I'm just trying to understand the need for this expense to determine whether we're being effective with some of our programs.
We currently have an amazing team in our assessment department, and they are able to pull data that we have, provide that for us, and do a first level look. What this entity brings that we have not had in the past is somebody to pull together research of effective programs, focus on the research question, conduct the research, and then come back to us and share findings in a rapid pace, not as part of a variety of other projects that they were doing. Our assessment team has shifted from having to do a heavy paper assessment process to much more digital and online, but it is quite taxing, and they do a great job at it. But this often is a second layer to it, and our campuses, such as our CSI schools, as were mentioned, must spend available funds on research-based practices. We can find plenty of studies out there. We certainly have done great work to this point. or I believe we have done great work to this point. We have definitely acquired funds through that grant, other grants, and COVID money, and we want to make sure that we are spending them as effectively as possible. And we believe this is a way that we can move quickly on getting those results and not pull our folks away from other critical projects. We don't want one to suffer in order to get some more in-depth work with the other.
Okay. Do we know, do you know whether they contract with interpreters or translators to be able to communicate with any of our family members or community members who are not English speaking? I know that it discusses consulting with or accounting for client translation costs, but I'm just curious as to their ability, if they're going to be evaluating some of the programs or, some of the programs.
When entering into that work, yes, they are capable of providing translated surveys. Some local entities use them to create their LCAP stakeholder input surveys or conduct some of that work. They can. We typically utilize our homeschool liaisons, our interpretive team. We would look at what the scope of the work was to be and evaluate which service was the right one to do that work. If they're meeting with a small group and collecting input around, let's say, the parent engagement, if that was an area that we wanted to look to see what impact it was having on student success or the quality of our parent engagement training, let's say, as an example, we would evaluate whether or not they would provide the service or we wanted to put our liaisons in the process. That would be our part of building out what the work scope would be.
Great, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Any requests to have this return under action, or can it return under consent? Okay. This item will return under action to our next board meeting. Thank you. Item number 2, receive information regarding copier lease maintenance agreement and managed print service maintenance agreement with Ray Morgan Company. Assistant Superintendent McLean.
Thank you, President Carrillo. As you mentioned, we have the proposed agreements tonight from Ray Morgan Company. They came out recently to our district offices and schools to do a assessment of our current system and looking for ways to improve and to reduce our operating costs. And so tonight we have a proposal that would save the district approximately $65,000 per year in cost savings compared to our current costs. The pricing is based on using the piggyback agreement from the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools Office. And we believe this program will be very helpful to the schools, and we'll be able to track our costs and track our usage, track our toner usage, and just really help us to manage our systems much more effectively. So tonight we are recommending this item be placed on the next board agenda for action, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Trustee Solis?
Are they going to deliver these, the new equipment I see listed on Schedule A? Are they going to deliver those to the new site at the warehouse?
To the what? I'm
The
sorry.
new site at the warehouse?
The new site?
Yes, the new office for the copy printing
Yes.
office?
Any other questions? Trustee Paul?
Yeah, looks like a pretty significant savings, which would be great. I'm just wondering what we're losing. Are we losing anything, giving something up to get that savings?
What's the savings based on? Is that what your question is?
That's my question.
Yes,
of what we're giving up.
we have a very competitive rate. We're using the same machines as we have now. We have Canon machines, and we would continue with Canon machines. But we were able to take advantage of this piggyback agreement with Fresno County and also just manage our print services. There's a lot of savings to be had in managing our printers throughout the district to monitor our costs and to use our color copiers and our black white copiers when needed to manage those costs.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Any objection to having this item return under consent? This item will return under consent. Thank you. Item N3, receive information regarding annual authorization to purchase via piggybackable comparative purchasing contract. Assistant Superintendent McLean.
Thank you. So if you recall last year at the beginning of the fiscal year, we had this item come forward as an annual item, allowing the district to use cooperative bids, which are often to our advantage by other cooperating agencies, to piggyback on those contracts in order to take advantage of those cost savings and bidding requirements that they have already utilized. So we have a list there. It's not an exhaustive list, but it's a number of the different vendors and contracts that we use throughout the year, in the past year, as well as looking forward. And so we are asking to reauthorize this again for the 21-22 fiscal year. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? So I know that as a piggyback, that typically provides us the best cost. Do we ever look to see whether, to ensure that that is in fact the best cost and for a district?
We do. Sometimes there's even different piggyback contracts available for the same service. So we do analyze those, and in some instances, we'll do our own bidding, as you see throughout the year. But generally, these are large contracts that can provide better pricing than we could provide on our own.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any objection to having this return under consent? Okay. This item will return under consent. Item N4, receive information regarding purchase of 5 new electric utility vehicles with grants from San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District. Assistant Superintendent McLean.
Thank you. So from time to time, we were able to take advantage of some of the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District grants that are out there, and we did one of these several years ago, if the board will recall. And there was another opportunity again this year to be able to obtain 5 utility vehicles that are electric, and these will be used out at the school sites, and the Air Pollution Control District will cover 100% of the cost of these vehicles. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Trustee Mailing?
Thank you. So we're with this program, we return, or we give them our old ones, correct?
I don't believe in this grant here that's the case. I'll have to double check that, but I don't recall that was the case in this particular
I think
item.
that might be it, because I was reading, we have to give them our old ones, and I think it's only an 80% return, but either way, I think maybe we could double check that.
I will double check, thank you. There are some older ones in the district. We have them throughout the district, so these are just 5, but yeah, I know that sometimes, like with buses and things like that, we have to show that we're eliminating the prior one.
Any other questions? Thank you, Trustee Mailing. I was wondering the same thing. Okay, any objection to having this return under consent? Okay, this will return under consent. And then Assistant Superintendent McLean will just follow up on that question for the next board meeting. Thank you.
Sure.
N5, receive information regarding renewal of security monitoring services with Senatrol. Assistant Superintendent McLean.
Thank you. This is our annual agreement for the next year. It's an annual agreement with Sonatrol that does our security monitoring at our sites, the vast majority of our sites. Their rates have not increased. We actually have a decrease in the overall cost of just under 3% from the current year, just due to adjustments in some of the services that they provide for us. But they have left their rates at the same level for the last several years. And so we are recommending this contract be placed on the June 22nd board agenda for action, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Any objection to having this item return under consent? Hearing none, this will return under consent. Item number 6, receive information regarding Measure B, Measure C, and Measure D Bond Oversight Committee membership nomination. Assistant Superintendent McLean.
Thank you. So we do have a vacancy right now on our Bond Oversight Committee. Committee for Measure B, C, and D. That's one committee for all three bonds, and that is a parent position. We want to thank Christy Nomalini for her past years of service. But she has left the position, and so we received an application recently for Mr. Corbin Gunstream, who is a resident of the district, is a parent of children enrolled in the district, and he has submitted his application to be considered for appointment to the committee. He's currently a member of the Superintendent's Parent Advisory Committee and is a local business owner, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Chan?
Sorry, Mr. McLean, could I just ask in terms of how do we solicit applications for the committee?
We're always accepting applications. At times, we are aware of people out there that might fill the need. So oftentimes with parents, we have parents that serve on our committees, and so we can get a hold of people that way. So it's both.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So I know, at least for me and maybe some of my other colleagues, this is the first time that we have an application. So as far as the process presented to us as an information item, we then take action. Does the Bond Oversight Committee review this at all, or is it just our review and approval?
Yeah, there are bylaws. If you recall, after the bond election in November, we updated the bylaws, and so in the bylaws, the board appoints the committee. Members can serve for 2-year terms, and they can serve a maximum of 3 2-year terms. So after 6 years, they term out. And right now, we don't have anybody terming out in the immediate future, but in a couple years, we will have additional members that will term out.
So other than this application form, there's no interview process or anything else as part of the application process, correct?
No, it's as in the past, we present it to the board for their consideration.
Perfect, thank you. Does this need to return under action, or can it be authorized under consent?
It can be authorized under consent.
Any objection to having this item return under consent? Okay, this item will return under consent. Thank you to Mr. Gunstream for submitting his application. Item number 7, receive information regarding architectural services by TAM plus CZ Architects for the Central High School new Ag Lab and classroom buildings. Assistant Superintendent McLean.
Thank you. So the board will recall, as we were reviewing the facilities master plan recently, at a previous board meeting, we talked about the Ag Lab classroom building at Central High School. At one time, those plans were completed and submitted to DSA back in 2012, and the project was on hold at that time. And now, with the passage of Measure D and the funding that we have for our future facilities master plan, we are moving forward to complete the plans. The plans have to be updated to current code requirements, and so we have received the proposal from TAM plus CZ, which was the architects on the original design, to update their documents in order that we can move forward. The fees are based on the state-approved scale for architects. There's an OPSC scale that is used by architects when they submit their fees, and so the cost is $233,000, which is about 4.4% of the anticipated construction cost of $5.2 million. This would be funded through bond measures C and D, and this is recommended to be placed on the June 22nd board agenda for action, and I would be happy to answer any questions on this.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Do we know what the fees were to prepare the 85% of the plans?
Originally, the fees were, I believe, approximately $250,000. And so the fees being presented at this time are the costs just to complete the process so that we can move forward with future construction.
Thank you. Any objection to having this item return under consent? Okay, this item will return under consent to our next board meeting. Item number 8, receive information on change order number 2 for materials testing lab services for Justin Garza High School project. Assistant Superintendent McLean.
Thank you. So this is for, the board will recall a few months ago, we had a change order 1, and this is with our contract with Salem to do the testing out for the site. This is a increase in the testing fees in the amount of $142,000 approximately due to an increase in the number of hours required to complete the work that's needed to complete the site. We are paying out of our contingency budget. I just kind of wanted to recap the cost. So this change order would be 0.13% of the overall construction cost of the new school. And with the previous change order, cumulatively, we're at 0.39% for this contract. So as compared to the change orders that we're usually bringing forward that are all falling under Harris Construction Company, this is falling outside of those of Harris Construction contracts. So it's accounted for separately. But we are utilizing the contingency construction budget, which was 5% of the total cost of the construction of Justin Garza High School. And so we, after these are taken into account, after this change order is taken into account, we have a remaining balance of $3.2 million in the contingency fund for remaining change orders. Now, we believe that this change order will be sufficient to carry the contract through the end of the project.
Thank you. And so these additional costs, did we increase? I mean, who's responsible, or did we anticipate these changes?
Some of the changes do occur as a result of additional services. There may be additional inspections that are required or re-inspections, and we have had conversations with Harris and discussions about negotiating for part of these costs to be recouped from the contractor. So we do anticipate that that will occur.
Okay. Do we know at this time how much of that, or are there still negotiations happening?
Currently, we're estimating a little bit over $100,000, but again, that's still being worked through.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Any objection to having this item return under consent? Okay, this item will return under consent to our next board meeting. Thank you. Item number 9 and our final information item, so our final item from Assistant Superintendent McLean. Receive information on change order number 13 for the Justin Garza High School.
Thank you. So this is change order 13. Again, these are change orders that are occurring on the Harris contract as a general contractor. This change order is an increase of $255,000 approximately, and this is a 0.24% increase to the project. So the overall increase cumulatively to date is 1.51% on the contract. We would be placing this on the next board agenda for action, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. How far are we to completion, or how close to 100% completion are we on this project?
In terms of percentage, I'd say we're at 90%.
Fantastic. Any questions or comments from the board on this item? Any objection to having this item return under consent? Thank you. This item will return under consent to our next agenda. Advanced planning, our 12-month calendar is attached. If anyone has any questions, they can contact me regarding that. Additional information and closing comments from the board. Is there any trustee wishing to provide any closing comments at this time? Trustee Paul?
I just wanted to say congratulations to all the retirees. That was and thank you for the presentation. There were some folks in there that I kept writing names down, and so I want to reach out to them personally, but in case I don't, I just wanted to say congratulations to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other updates? Final closing comments? Hearing nothing further. Our next board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021. Our closed session to begin at 6 p.m. and our public session to begin at 7 p.m. or as soon as thereafter. It'll be held here at the Central East High School Performing Arts Center. We do not need to adjourn to closed session, and so our final item for today's agenda is adjournment. What are the wishes of the board? I have a motion by trustee Chan. Is there a second? I have a second by trustee Brooks. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Yeah, and day after. And possibly day after, no, I think that, yeah, day after.